So my name is Jack Candish, I'm an industrial designer, and I started a company a few years ago called Organic Dynamic, and the focus of that company was to make surfboards from sustainably sourced materials, and the product that we produce now, this board here, is made from 100% locally recycled polystyrene waste and New Zealand grown timber. It's sealed with a plant-based bioresin. It works great, it's strong, light, and performs like a conventional board, but it just has a far smaller environmental footprint. Essentially it started out as a little hobby, and the initial idea was to try and save money from having to buy new boards quite regularly. I was breaking quite a few boards and either replacing them or repairing them where possible, and it just kind of got a bit costly, so I thought I'd try and make my own and save for the coin, and then it kind of got carried away. Other people are seeing the boards and they're wanting them, and it sort of organically over the last 4 years turned from a little passion project into a business. The polystyrene that comes from Richard, who runs Polypalace up at the Powershop landfill. His job is to basically drive around Wellington, pick up polystyrene waste, takes it away, mulches it up, and then remolds it into block form, and that creates the core of the board. And then the timber that comes from a farmer called Graham Smith in Tiwamutu, and he's a dairy farmer by trade, but he wanted to try and introduce some forestry practices into his farm to prevent the livestock's runoff from getting into the nearby waterways. It's a really renowned trout fishing stream. So he decided to plant paulownia trees 10 metres apart in the paddock by the river where the cows roam. And essentially those trees capture and harvest the nutrients from the cow waste, preventing that from going into the waterways, and then it makes the trees grow faster. Another nice thing about paulownia is it grows from its stump, so he can fell those trees and the roots will continue to harvest those nutrients whilst they regrow. We have a few kind of I'd say templates that we work with, like boards that we've developed over the last 4 years, and they're tried and trusted shapes that we know work. Because all our machinery is reconfigurable, it means that we can tailor shapes to individual surfers. So every time we make a board, we sit down with the surfer and we figure out what their surfing is like, and then we figure out what they want from the board, and we essentially tweak that template that we've developed to suit their size and their ability and the types of waves that they want to ride. Which is a really rare thing to be able to do in the wooden board market, because most of the other wooden board manufacturers have molds for every shape that they make. So that's a really kind of unique offering that we have. Moving forward, what we want to try and develop is a blank supply sort of system where you can go into any shaper around New Zealand and request that your board is made in our construction. They'll design the board in CAD, send me the file, I'll put the blank together and send that back to the shaper, and they'll finish it off and then sell it to the customer. And that's kind of where we're heading, and hopefully going to have that all set up by the end of the year. And if you want to go into the draw to win one of these boards, get one of your mates to switch to Powershop by the 28th of February and you could win a fully custom Organic Dynamic surfboard.